Illuvium overall, so whether we're looking at Overworld or Illuvium Zero or even Arena, well, I guess the backstory of this is a game like Mavia had just came out. It was something that I was playing, and then we've gone like a couple weeks where we haven't got any like major updates. So it seems to get stale really quick. You can just tell in that community, everyone's just like waiting for the next update. People are playing less. So when it comes to Illuvium, how often do we need to see like real updates like this for it to like remain sticky, for people to be coming back every day? Like if we get into open beta and people are going on these overworld runs, how long before they just get bored with what they're seeing before we need to have some kind of update involved in that? Jimbo, why don't we start with you on that one?
I mean, yeah. So this is actually a really interesting question for me because I've always heard Kieran and them say, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure I've heard them say that they want to do a new set every year. Is that correct?
I think he's a little over a year. I think I might have heard like a year and a half.
Yeah, that's
But yeah,
to me that's an interesting. I personally, because Pokemon comes out every 3 years, and I think like 2 to 3 years would be better for Illuvium because then you can let the meta stabilize and people. My problem with TFT is it feels like the game changes every 3 months and you have to completely relearn the game. I don't want that for Illuvium, and I think if we kept a little bit of space for there to be a breather, like Arena wouldn't you wouldn't have to completely relearn Arena, and I'm sure there's gonna be things in Overworld that you would have to relearn when we find out more about
but
Overworld.
doesn't that bring the excitement back into it though? Like, oh, something's new. I gotta figure this out. I can figure it out before
Yeah,
everyone else figures it out.
no, I agree, but I think doing it too soon and too quickly is actually a could be bad for like return players. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe that's a very personalized take for me, but I don't like super consistent updates like that personally. But
Yeah. Well,
um
you're also kind of thinking of this from like the arena standpoint, right? Because think
mhm.
about it from an overworld standpoint. If you were just going to be an overworld player, they introduce, I don't know, let's just say two new alluvial lines. Maybe they go about doing it that way. Like, I can't see much of a negative side to that. Like, an overworld player would be excited. Oh, now I have these new alluvials I can go and capture.
So if they were going, so in my head I was thinking more like Pokemon. They release like 100 in a batch. If they were going to release like one or two, let's say like League of Legends does with Champions, they'll release one every like 3 to 4 months. I think that would be fine, but I'm not sure that's how they wanted it to happen. So if that was the case, I would be cool with it, but I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. What do you think about that, Viper?
Yeah, I guess I also have like mixed ideas on that because it kind of depends on the game and the player base that you just end up having. Right, there's people playing chess and Go, and those games don't have updates. There are people playing, I don't know, Counter Strike and things like that. We don't really have fundamental updates, right? Or we want to look at like most battle royale games and so on. Like, what are the updates? Like, okay, this weapon is a bit better. This weapon is a bit worse. Okay, that's not like a major gameplay change or something like that, like in TFT. TFT is pretty much Jimbo says. You kind of have to relearn the game every few months because you don't know any of the characters, you don't know any of the new mechanic and so on. So sometimes, like recently, like some economy breakpoints and so on change as well. So there's a lot information you have to input again to just be good and understand what's going on. Yeah, I think there's upsides and downsides of that. It depends on the player base that you end up having and attracting. I think on the overall, the Illuvia sets, by the way, I don't think it's going to be like 150 every time. I think it's been set like 50-ish or like smaller sets. So yeah, I think like having those smaller sets, that probably is a good thing. And overall, we don't launch with all the regions available anyways, right? So there's going to be the next region and the next region and so on. So I guess that's a really good update for overworld players where they just have, I don't know, this whole new thing to explore and like different drop chances and so on and so on. So there's probably a lot updates coming out that are like relevant and major-ish, right? Because I think every region is going to have some new lore thing probably as well and whatnot. And then fundamentally, Illuvium also has more games, right? It's going to be more games added to the, or what is it, like IBG, interconnected blockchain game, and it's the term.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like you have the updates direct. It's like all the overworld regions, then the different Illuvia sets. Probably some like different game modes for arena, maybe some overworld things, right? People have talked about do some like speedrun parkour thing for overworld and so on. So I think you'd certainly have enough room for a bunch of things that are not this super crazy, you have to relearn the entire game thing like Jimbo mentioned.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Before we move on to the next topic, something that I know I've heard Kieran say before, I think he actually said it in the AMA with me, is what they were planning to do for new sets is say maybe have like 15 new lines, which would be basically like 45 new alluvials, but then they'll fill in the rest of the alluvials with like the same alluvials but different synergies and classes. So you might get in set 2 it might be like a Ramfire, like a Frost Ramfire that's a fighter or something like that. So just changing up the affinities in synergies, but still getting essentially a full set of new alluvials. They just won't all be completely new.